Hey guys, I'm getting sick. You can probably hear my voice. I'll do my best to get through this. But a couple of years ago, I was kicking around the idea that I should cover ridiculous subreddits on this channel. Ultimately decided against it, because unlike TikTok Tuesday, I feel like I run out of content pretty quickly. But you know what? There is another subreddit that I want to talk about today, and that is r/fuckcars. Fuckcars is self-described as discussion about the harmful effects of car dominance on communities, the environment, safety, and public health. Aspiration towards more sustainable and effective alternatives, like mass transit and improved pedestrian and cycling infrastructure. And you know what? The subreddit certainly does contain these topics. But you know what else it contains? Frothing at the mouth, irrational hatred of cars and car drivers. So let's see what's being talked about today. But I need a car to haul things. Behold, the cargo bike. Holy shit, dude, that's a lot of cargo. Like, listen, cargo bikes look cool. I got nothing against those. But look at how much junk he has jammed in there. It's probably hell to balance, too. Would you want to deliver a washing machine in this thing rather than the back of a truck? Not me. Possible community protection flyer. What the? In the hopes of keeping your vehicle from moving for some time, your tires have been let down in an act of self-defense. Fucking unhinged, dude. You or your boss's choice of vehicle is an act of violence against our community and it won't be tolerated. Fuck off. Imagine some triggered fucking loser just like pops your tires because they don't like your choice of car. Fucking unhinged. It makes so much sense knowing that car-based infrastructure was made to exclude minorities and poor people, so the blacks and the poors can't get in. Oh my god, dude. Listen, if you're a black viewer, I just gotta ask you, are you capable of knowing your way through a suburb, or is this person just being really fucking racist? I really hate seeing signs like this treating cyclists like pieces of crap. What? It's just a stop sign. Why does that? Every vehicle on the road occasionally has to stop. What do you mean treating you like crap? You think cyclists shouldn't have to stop? What the fuck's wrong with you? The fucking entitlement, dude. Another cargo bike. This time the guy's carrying bricks around. He moved 130 bricks in 10 hours. I'm pretty sure that's like one trip by car. Listen, if you want to live this lifestyle, go ahead, but there are clearly better options, and it's not bad to want to use them. Speaking of carrying bricks, look at this Giga Chad. I'm surprised he's actually managing to do all of this. Once again, you want to do this, fine, but acting like this can be a real widespread alternative to cars is just fucking foolish. The irony of living in a society that hates bikes so much and yet steals them the second they are left unattended. MAGA and carbrains love to steal them just to throw them into the nearest river. It's a real thing. Bikes are woke, I guess. Okay, have you fucking ever seen this? Some right winger comes along, sees a bike, tosses it into the river. I'm going to show those woke libtards. No bikes allowed in this town. I've never seen that in my life. I've never even heard that online in my life. There's no fucking way. Those e-scooter rental apps stopped operating in my town because everyone kept throwing them in the river. Okay, I don't think this is like right-wingers or MAGA or whatever. I think this is just like hooligans. 5 years of owning this yellow beast. Great memories, but... Okay, dude, alright. Okay, Timu JD Vance. I get the joke, it's pretty good. Like, this is just clearly them having fun. To sit here and make this political is ridiculous. I've seen multiple variations of this chart on the subreddit. And you know what? I figure this is a good enough spot to transition into actually talking about some of this stuff, and not just cackling on like a troll. These are the car-brained excuses for driving. What's going on here is, the first column is the reasons people give as to why they like their car. The second column is what their actual reason is underneath their dog whistle, and the third column is what the solution to the problem is. Okay, let's actually examine these. And we're starting off spicy with the first one. The given reason is, public transport has bad people. The actual reason is, you're racist and hate black people, and the solution is, stop being a bigot and grow the fuck up. Okay, to give the devil his due, there are absolutely racists out there who do not want to ride on the bus or the subway or the train with black people or whoever else. However, if you think the only motivation is racism, you're actually just fucking insane. I think anyone who's lived in a city before has been on a bus or something where there's that one annoying passenger. He's talking loudly on his phone, or he's eating like a full fucking meal on the bus and stinking the place up, and everyone else is just sitting there quietly and hating the experience. And yes, you know what? It's usually an immigrant. Nothing to do with his skin color, and everything to do with his behavior. Finding that annoying isn't racist. But also, in my opinion, it's not a reason on its own to swear off buses. The more serious critique, underneath the whole public transport has bad people umbrella, is something akin to what happened to that Ukrainian woman who was stabbed by a fucking schizo on the subway last summer. And insofar as the car conversation goes, I think this guy's take correctly analyzed the situation. This image has done more damage to the anti-car, pro-public transit movement than 50% across-the-board budget cuts ever could. Sorry, transit bros. Unless progressive stances on crime, punishment, and urban dysfunction are rolled back drastically, then the future of mobility will be won by autonomous vehicles. There absolutely is this common perception in both America and Canada that public transit is unsafe, or at least more unsafe. Lower class people, who are also more likely to commit crime, congregate on public transit, which increases the chances that your stuff gets stolen or a random schizo stabs you. As someone who's been on a lot of public transit, yeah, I've seen some crazy shit before myself. And the bus terminals or subway stations are even worse. So you know what? It's not racism to not want a random schizo to stab you, even if the schizo in question is black, and he's swinging around a Black Lives Matter knife. I almost feel like if this dude had killed an anti-car bro instead, his dying words would have been like, "Make sure everyone knows my death was statistically unlikely." It's true that other issues make public transit more unsafe, and some of those issues will be racial. But until those problems are solved, it's not racist to not want to get stabbed in the fucking bus. Okay, second reason. It's too cold where I live. This actually means does not own winter clothes, and the solution is to buy them. Okay, so, as a person who lives in a medium-sized city, in a location with multiple months of winter snow, and who also has a car, I think I'm perfectly equipped to discuss this take. It is really fucking cold where I live sometimes. I'm right in the center of that crazy boob-looking storm front that's rolling in right now. And you know what? I absolutely do own winter clothes. But getting all bundled up to walk to the grocery store, and then having to carry the groceries back when there's snow drifts and ice and shit, just fucking sucks, man. I've done it before, even in walkable areas of a city, and it's miserable. Nowadays, when we use the car, I throw on a coat, and my exposure to the hell that is Canadian winter lasts from front door to driveway, and then from parking lot to the inside of Costco. It's just more convenient, and no amount of bundling up will ever change that. And speaking of Costco, that's in the third reason. My SUV has more cargo space actually means shops at Costco once a month, and the solution is shop at Whole Foods once a week. You know, I don't think the person who made this knows what it's like to actually be poor, or to have kids or something. If you have kids, you're driving them around a lot. If they're into sports, or music, or any other activity with stuff that takes up space and has to be transported, you need wheels for that. But even if kids aren't a problem, there's an assumption here that rather than pay for your car, you should ditch it and walk to the nearest Whole Foods, and then just pay more for food. After all, without paying for the car, you'll make it up, right? Maybe, but again, it's about the convenience. Buying in bulk is cheaper. It means you're devoting less time to traveling and shopping, so you have more time to do what you actually want to do. And also, not every neighborhood has a Whole Foods. Which leads us directly into the fourth reason. My car is faster actually means poor time management, and the solution is wake up earlier, budget your time. Okay, that might be the case, but you know what? For a lot of us, we're actually just fucking busy. We have shit to do. The ability to get somewhere more quickly and on our timetable is the main reason we wanted cars. You can drive from one end of my city to the other in 30 minutes, maybe more like 45 if you're in the lunch rush, while it takes a bus at least an hour and a half to do the same thing. And you have to do it on the bus's timetable. In this example, why the fuck would you ever want to waste an extra hour per trip if you didn't have to? Riding bikes makes me too sweaty, means you're out of shape and overweight. The solution is ride bikes, go to the gym. You know what? This one's fair. I'll give you a point. Cars are freedom, or freedom, means a car-brained view of the world, and the solution is join fuck cars and watch not just bikes. Okay, let's discuss the freedom argument. Cars are in fact freedom, and I think I can make a good case for it. Here's a post on the subreddit titled, "I really don't understand the argument that cars are freedom. Let's see what he has to say." Initially, he talks about having to get a license, pay for a car and its upkeep, and follow the rules of the road. And you know what? Okay, those are restrictions on your freedom to just drive willy-nilly. I'll give you that. Losing car access in America or Canada is devastating, because walking and biking is less convenient than it could be. But then he says this, compare it to a walkable place. I could go out drinking and walk home and it doesn't really matter. Actually, you know what, dude? Public intoxication laws are a thing. No one can take away your right to walk. In a city with multiple forms of transit available, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Can't drive to work? That's okay, take the train. You'll be there all the same. And you know what? I'm not against trains or buses or anything else. I don't want communal transportation to cease to exist. But having cars as an option is freedom. I come from a small town. Less than 10,000 people maximum population. As a kid, my bike took me from one end of town to the other in about 15 minutes. Also, the next town over of comparable size was like an hour down the road by car. Considering where I currently live, it can sometimes be a half-day road trip to go back and visit my family. There's no airplanes that go out that way, it's too small and isolated. The Greyhound bus stopped servicing the area years ago. Not solely because cars took away their customers, but because there's so few people living out there, there's just no demand for a bus line. A lot of r/fuck cars are city-oriented, and I get why. They want walkable downtown centers. European cities can do them pretty well, so why not American ones? They want to live in an apartment above a shop, and then walk down onto Main Street to go to work, then walk to the park, and then walk to the gym. And if anything's outside their walkable limit, the city bus or whatever will get them to where they need to go. They want everything conveniently located within one location. This is the source of that 15-minute city thing, by the way. The idea that everything you normally need should be close by. I did a video on this a couple of years ago, but the conspiracy theory that the 15-minute 15-minute city is a locked-down zone where legally no one is allowed to leave was just COVID-era schizo nonsense that only right-wing crazies actually believed in. In reality, the 15-minute city is the idea that what you need should be within a 15-minute zone around your living space in order to make long trips less frequent. It saves on energy, it saves on road maintenance, it saves on car maintenance, it makes your community feel more like a community. There's obvious benefits to laying out a city in this way. And that Not Just Bikes YouTube channel mentioned earlier does have some good work, showing the damage that widespread adoption of cars has done to cities. There's these amazing before and after videos of entire neighborhoods getting bulldozed and displaced to build up these giant 16-lane highways in order to shuttle individual cars in and out of America's large cities, cities whose downtown cores were not built to accommodate that much traffic. So even more space became dedicated to parking. You can't have a pleasant walkable area when it's all ripped out and replaced with highways and parking lots. If each car represents a person, and that car needs to be parked while downtown, a lot of downtown areas end up holding a lot less people, because there's just not enough space for them. This contributes to the decay of these downtowns. Main Street shops and restaurants close up, because there's fewer people walking down the street to actually go into them. Everyone's driving in and parking, which takes up more space, rather than living in apartments, which takes up less space. So yes, I understand the anti-car arguments, and they have some good points, which is why I'm not principally against the idea of expanded transit access, or for designing some areas of a city to have more walkable spaces and less access to cars. Basically, the 15-minute city idea is great, putting aside those schizo conspiracy theories about the government not letting you leave. But this returns us to the conversation about life outside of cities. Even if I live the perfect anti-car lifestyle, you know, what the right-wingers call a bug living in the pod or whatever the fuck, or if I wanted to go on a road trip and actually see places rather than just fly over them, I need a car. And, God forbid, if I ever moved back home, yes, I would need a car. The posts that I've found on the fuckcars subreddit relating to the rural part of the conversation are, decidedly more delusional, from what I can tell. And maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me like they think it's morally justifiable, maybe even morally required, for the sake of progress, to destroy the lifestyle and the livelihoods of people who live in small towns or in the countryside. Because, again, for moral reasons, they shouldn't be living out there anyway. They should be moved into the cities too. Like, this is fucking evil, dude. Let people live the lifestyles they want. And of course, there are obviously people who are insane and ridiculous with their cars. Like, for example, just off the top of my head, do you guys recall the Super Mega drama from a few years ago? The chick in that story said she needed wheels while living in LA. Okay, fair enough. But rather than buy a tiny little city car, something suitable for running errands in, something like what Naomi and I have, in fact, she bought a fucking Jeep. Like, dude, that's retarded and unnecessary for your needs. But ultimately, yes, you should have the freedom to buy and own a car and drive it around. All of the anti-car arguments, that it costs money, that it takes up space in the road, that it's not really freedom because the state regulates it, that we should build cities to be more accommodating to those who walk or bike, none of them have an answer to the question of, what if I need to drive 6 hours outside of the city? They have no answer for it. The most freedom-oriented answer is, you have your own fucking car, and you make the trip on your schedule. No amount of city planning, or time management, or functioning transit systems will ever beat the ability to be the arbiter of when and how you travel. I mentioned this to that sock done left guy during the latest round of anti-car posts on Twitter. If you recall, he was the dude who kicked off the arc that led to me making the Gramsci video a few years back, when he said that cars in New York City were more unsafe than riding on the subway, at least statistically. And you know what? He's probably right. However, people are actually willing to live a slightly more unsafe lifestyle if it means in exchange they get an extreme amount of added convenience. And that is what owning your own car brings to the table. In fact, this is the same argument that I made back when I was talking about No Mercy, though then it was about skydiving. The idea is, just because it's not perfectly safe does not mean that it should be banned. It means that we make things as safe as we can. We weigh the pros and cons. And then, people who want to engage in risky behavior should have the freedom to do so. Ultimately, I'm not against the idea of more walkable downtown cores. I get all the anti-car frustrations, rude drivers, not enough bike lanes, all that reasonable stuff. But the vibe that I get is that their ultimate goal is simply to abolish the ability of private citizens to own cars at all. And that would be one of the biggest freedom-restricting moves you could take. One of the core liberal values is freedom of movement, and owning a car grants you the ability to enjoy that freedom. Like I said, if I want to drive 6 hours away to a location that no bus goes to because it's too remote, with a car, I can. In the ideal fuck cars future, I would not be able to. Having that option open to me maximizes my personal freedom. And ultimately, the anti-car project really just seems like people who want to restrict individual liberty in the name of efficiency. Anyway, follow the Twitter account Insane Anti-Car People, because their shit's pretty funny. And I'm gonna go collapse into bed. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. I love you. Fuck. God damn it. Dude, just fucking drinking water hurts. But you know what else? God damn it.